Hello, fellow homebrewers. JP here, and I want to introduce to you the brand new Brew Built X1 Conical Series available at More Beer. More Beer sells the highest standard in homebrewing equipment, and the Brew Built Conicals are just that. They're made from mirror polished 304 stainless steel, and they come with loads of features that you and I have been looking for. They have a full 2-inch bottom dump valve, which will eliminate your clogging issues, while the sturdy base includes 4 reinforced legs, just like those big Pro tanks do. More Beer also carries the Brew Built line of options and add-ons like casters, pressure kits, and even external glycol chillers. So you can find out more about the new Brew Built X1 Conical Unitanks by going over to morebeer.com for detailed videos on the entire line of Brew Built Conicals. You can trust Brew Built with your next fermentation, and you can trust More Beer to find the right conical for you. Brew Built at morebeer.com.
70,000 people are here, and Bob Dylan is the reason for it.
Inspired by the true story.
For anyone who's gonna hold your attention on a stage, you have to kind of be a freak.
Are you a freak?
Hope so.
And starring Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan. He defied everyone.
Turn it down!
Play loud!
To change everything.
Make some noise, BD.
Timothy Chalamet, Edward Norton, Elle Fanning, Monica Barbaro. A complete unknown. Only in theaters Christmas Day. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the session. I'm your host, Justin Crosley, back in the studio today, and excited to be here. It's been a couple weeks since I've been in the studio, and I always like it when I get to be here, especially with old friends. And I'm here with a couple of guys that I haven't seen in a little while. I didn't mean old as in age, by the way, guys. I just meant your old friends. Like, we've known each other a while. You get it. Okay. I've got Greg Koch in the studio with me. You remember him from, what was that? That's that little brewery from Southern California called Stone Brewing Company. Greg, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
I'm happy to have you, man. And my co-host today, Sean Sully O'Sullivan.
All right.
It's good to see you, bud.
It's good to be here. Excited to be here.
Sully had to fight like fires and traffic to get here or something.
It was a little intense, but I made it because I had to be here to hear Greg's new story.
I know. Greg has a new story. And I can't wait to dive into it. I'm going to dive right into how I discovered the story because I think it's funny. But first, hey, thanks to More Beer, our amazing sponsor. They've been sponsoring the show since day one, and I love them so much for doing that. They've made this, the Brewing Network, possible for so long. So thank you to More Beer. Go to morebeer.com and check out their all-new Flash brewing kits. You can make great beer in very little time. I'm going to brew one with Chris Graham in the next couple weeks, and we'll come on the show and talk about it too. But go to morebeer.com, check out their deal of the day, or look at their Flash brewing kits. So yeah, I get this text a couple months ago. I haven't heard from Greg since he left the planet.
Vanished.
I don't know where you went, Greg, but you know, Greg sells Stone. I'm not going to ask him how much money he made because that's rude. I just want to know how many albums he can make, how many records can he make before he has to get a job again. You can probably make a lot of records, right? Before you have to get a job again.
Can
you make 200,000 records before you have to get a job again?
Well, I'm not planning on getting a job again ever, so it's a bit of a
That's the best answer,
non-issue.
by the way.
That's a good, yeah.
I was never very good at this job thing. I don't do job well. I did one job. I only ever had one real job.
What was that?
Stone. It was arguable that it was a real job.
I thought you meant a different job. Okay.
No. Well, actually, the company that I started before Stone, I guess that could be considered a real job.
Okay.
But then before that, I didn't have a real job. I've never had a real job.
Attaboy. I like you for that.
You didn't work at McDonald's or Pizza Hut like I did?
I worked at a Bag Boys at the local grocery store in the small town where I grew up for 7 months. But I don't call that a real job because a real job is something career-ish.
Okay.
Oh, makes sense.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So
Right.
that was my rough definition. But I never had a job where I was paying rent as a result of that job.
Okay. Until Stone.
The company before that,
Okay.
I guess. But okay.
Well,
My whole story's running thin here. It's really.
I think we just say
there's too many
Stone.
caveats, and
Well, the
if-thens and all that kind of stuff. So
The point is that Greg
I'm just unemployable on a general level.
have no marketable skills.
Yeah.
We're not going to see your resume on Indeed anytime soon.
Right. So Greg, the Stone sells. Greg disappears. I don't know where he goes. We'll find out maybe. But out of the blue, a couple months ago, I get a text, and it's Greg, and he's like, "Hey, have you heard about my new project?"
Oh.
And I'm like, "No. Oh, this is in my head, I'm just thinking, I wonder what beer is coming out. I wonder what's happening, And
That would have been great, by the way.
yeah, right. And he sends me a link to some music.
Okay.
And the music, it's under the title Metal Warrior, right? And I don't listen to it. I'm working. We're texting back and forth, and I'm like, "Hey man, yeah, sounds like I should get you on the show. You got a new project. I'm happy." And he's like, "Yeah, that'd be great. Let's talk about that." And I leave it at that. And in my head, I'm like, what is going on? Like, I know him as a brewer, right? I just only known Greg ever as a brewer. And we're going to find out that, of course, he had a musical history before that. But I'm just thinking, like, all right, I'm going to do this show because I know Greg and it'll be fun. But
Catch up.
But let's be honest, the music is going to be shit, right? Like, it's not going to... That's right. But I haven't listened to it yet. This is just my head talking.
Yeah, I get it.
Like 4 hours go by and I get to leave work. And so I pop it on in my car. And I listened to a song, and I text Greg like immediately. I texted you while I was driving, Greg. This is how excited I was. I shouldn't have.
I broke the law for you.
Broke the law for that. And my text, I think, was simply like, Greg, WTF. Like, this is good. And Greg's great. He answers back immediately. You thought it was going to suck, and we're trying to figure out how to be polite to me. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So exactly.
I used to look. I don't look in the mirror and think, "Oh, I got to listen to that guy's music."
Right. Yeah. No one ever looked at Greg and was like, "Oh man, this is going to change my world.
It's going to rock me."
My wife.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So I listened to the album, the tracks that he sent, and this is now you know what we're going to talk about tonight. Greg has a new project called Metal Warrior, and it as it happens, it's very good. It's very good, and we're going to learn all about it. And so I reached out to Greg immediately right after that, and I had already offered him the show anyway. But I'm like, Greg, now I'm actually really excited about this show.
Okay, as opposed to prior, where you were just going to be polite for how long? And like, well, we normally do an hour show, but I think 20 minutes should cover it.
Yeah, I'm like, it's a weird. YouTube's broken tonight, Greg. We only can do 20 minutes of show, whatever I was going to do. No, I mean, okay, I didn't think it was going to be horrible. But how many times has a friend who has like another gig their whole life reaches out to you and be like, "Oh, you got to read my new poetry book," and it's good. Like, it doesn't happen, right? But in this case, it's really good.
Yeah, I actually was listening to it yesterday and on the way into the show right now, and it's great. I mean, it's honestly, it's pretty. It's very direct. It's out there. It's everything. It's like, I mean, the playing is unbelievable.
The musicianship is fantastic. So we're going to get into all that, and we're going to talk to Greg about what he's been up to. But in the meantime, you can go to metalwarrior.com and check it out, because it's an entire universe that's been created that's around music and a graphic novel, and Greg's going to tell us about all that tonight. So check it out. Hey, we got a few other shows you can listen to here on the Brewing Network that are still going. Go to search for Brew Strong. I've actually been filling in for Jamil for a couple shows on Brew Strong.
You don't look anything like him.
I know, I don't, but I think I've been doing a good job filling in for Jamil. We've got Dr. Homebrew, and then we have this new show that I put out with Mare Island Brewing Company called Battleships to Beer. 10 years of Mare Island Brewing Company, and I'm really proud of it. The Mare Island Brewing Company has this cool brewing history. But Mare Island itself has an even cooler, like military history in the U.S. And it's a very unique sort of scenario and island. And go listen to it. Search for Battleships to Beer.
Actually, I co-host on here once in a great while. But I happened to be on the show when those guys were on, and it was like the whole history was.
It's fascinating.
It's fascinating. We just wanted to talk about that. I mean, their beer was great too, but it was just what they've created out there and that whole environment. It's amazing.
I've been to Mare Island. It's
Have you?
Crazy.
Yeah.
I'm surprised at that because most people, even from the Bay Area, have not been to Mare Island.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got taken around by a guy who wanted to show off Mare Island to me for some reason.
Okay, yeah.
And he kind of knew a lot of the back, I don't know, whatever. He knew the stuff.
Yeah.
And he took me around, and it was kind of jaw-dropping.
It's a strange...
It's one hell of a piece of real estate.
It absolutely is. Wow. And so this brewing company opened there, and they're hoping that the rest of the island like develops around them. It's been a slow process, but their story is fascinating, and they're very into the history. They've built their beer brand around the history, and so the podcast is about like what does 10 years look like when you're building a brand like that. So I should do one with you, Greg, about building a brand for. 20 years or something?
Well, I was in Stone for 26.
26 years. Oh, yeah. That's right. You were one of the first.
Not counting the pre-years. Which
Right.
There was a few pre-years.
Yeah.
Steve and I working on it and diving in deep.
Oh, man. What a legacy.
Noodling,
and now
writing
you've
the
got
plan.
this new project. I wonder if your new... I'm going to skip ahead really. I wonder if your new project's going to have a crazy legacy, Greg. You do everything like full speed.
What?
You do.
That's putting unrealistic expectations on it, really. Yeah,
the perception is
33 and a third RPMs.
That's the speed you're at right now. All right. Well, let's dive into it. But I first want to know. Okay,
Let's stage dive into it.
you're retired. Do you call yourself retired?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Okay.
Because what other words are going to use? I mean, so I have no gainful employment right now.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And did you just move to Maui and like leave the world behind, or?
So I'd actually gotten that place 8 years ago, and Maui's been my primary residence
Since then, okay.
for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, for years.
Do you still have roots in San Diego?
Oh yeah, I mean,
okay.
I identify San Diegan. I identify Southern California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured you did.
Yeah.
But you're not really involved in Stone anymore. It wasn't
Not
like
at all.
yeah, okay. You're just out.
They're very polite to me.
That's nice.
When I walk through the door, and usually somebody from the host stand will very, very politely say, "Excuse me, sir, you look lost. May I help you?"
Oh my God, yeah. And then they get on the radio and they're like, Greg's here again. Greg's here again. It's called security. Okay, so San Diego is still a home of yours as well, but you're a Maui resident.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. And you live way out in
I'm
Hana.
out there. Yeah, we don't need to talk about it because
Okay, you don't want people finding
all
you.
the people listening right now, you're not invited. I didn't go out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
To
have people show up in the middle of
have
nowhere.
people showing up at the door. So
That's fair.
As antisocial as that may sound, and it really probably is, the truth of the matter is it's just out there.
Yeah.
It's not a convenient place to
Right.
come and go from. So when I'm out there, I tend to spend time.
Sure.
And then you get island fever.
Okay.
Because it's a real thing. And, look, Garrett Marrero from Maui Brewing is one of my best friends. And, we see each other. But he's 2.5 to 3. It depends on traffic. But generally 2.5 hours for
Yeah.
me to drive from my house to his house.
It's a trek.
It's a trek.
That's a Zoom call instead.
It's yeah.
What are you doing over there?
I saw him a few weeks ago, and there was an event he invited me to. It was Zane Lamprey, who I'm gonna go on Zane's pod here.
Heck yeah.
in a week, and so he invited me out, and I took the little puddle jumper. It's a 15-minute flight over then to the main part of the island from our place. $56. It's
that's amazing.
yeah. It's kind of subsidized by the government to give access to the peoples.
I love
out
that.
in that very ruralized area. To
what's cheaper than
the
that though is
population.
your friend Garrett could have picked you up in his airplane.
He's got an airplane, right?
He threatened it, and he said, hey, let me look at my schedule. Maybe I can grab you.
Right.
Which means that it's like a 20% chance, because if you've ever seen his schedule, the guy is one of the hardest working men in show
is.
business. So
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But
are you an antisocial guy, Greg? Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I am. And here's the thing. I am actually, I really am in my core antisocial, and I don't like a lot of people. But here's the thing. I want to be social, and I want to like, and I actually do like individuals. Crowds is a little where it's challenging for me.
Sure. But are you like me?
I mean, we're early in the conversation. I think I still like you guys.
We'll figure it out at the end.
Yeah. But, so I'm
Jury's
just
out.
at my core, I am an introvert. And so being around a lot of people just consumes a tremendous amount of energy.
Yeah.
I've never pretended when I'm hanging out with people, drinking beers, when I was doing all the events and everything, it was all very real.
Yeah.
But I might have been pretending on the energy side.
That makes sense. I think that if I could take a stab here, you're a bit like me in the sense that you're an introverted extrovert. And what I mean is, in a room full of people without a microphone, it sucks. If I give you a microphone, you're ready to go.
Yeah, which is a different kind of a thing, and it is weird. Yeah, put me on stage, I'm fine.
Same.
I'm good. Put me in a cocktail party. I don't know what to say.
Right.
I don't talk to anybody. Cocktail conversation sucks.
I'm with you. Yeah.
And that's actually really one of the things I was most looking forward to, because when was the last time I sat down and talked with you, with either of you guys?
Yeah.
And I know that this is going to be a little much now, but I adore both you guys. I mean,
thanks.
I really do.
Thank you.
I know that's a little sweet, and it feels awkward, and I wish I hadn't said it now.
Well, you have a microphone. You feel like you've got a sense of vulnerability right now.
Okay, I'm going to lean in heavily now.
I love it.
I adore you. You're sweet.
Thanks,
you're
Greg.
kind. You're I dare I say loving. Yeah, just so.
I love it. I'm going to actually take that sound clip and do something with it.
Yeah.
Put some special music in the background and just play it over and over.
Greg, I will say, since we're being honest,
I like this. It's a session. I'll pay
version of
$150.
honesty.
well, in the 20 years I've been doing the show, and I've known you for much of that time, people will be like, well, I don't know, what do you think about Greg? Greg seems like, he seems maybe, he's a little edgy. He's a little like, it seems like he doesn't like people. And I've always been like, you know what? I've never had a bad time with Greg. You've always been so kind to me and the show and everything else. And I don't know why people are like, I don't know. Do you think Greg likes people? And I'm like, I don't know. I like hanging out with him.
It's weird. I mean, I actually do like people.
You do? Yeah.
Well, I do. So here's the thing. My favorite thing to do is hang out over dinner and some great beers.
There you go.
With a small 4 people, maybe 6 people.
Yeah.
Now we get into a crowded bar where there's 30, 50 people, and you're really kind of moving around the room and everything. That's what takes, I have to really lean into it. I got to really turn it on.
Same.
I'm never faking. When I'm like, hey, man, it's cool to meet you, I actually mean it 100% of the time.
Yeah.
But still, at the end of it, like, oh, God, I'm done. And, yeah. I think there's so many people out there that just understands, it's just... We're complex human beings. You can have 2 different ideas in your brain at the same time that are sometimes conflicting, and you can be not simple one way all the time, every time kind of a person. And I'm the same way.
Well, especially in this industry, or your former industry, the beer industry. I mean, and you were this iconic figure, and like all of us who are in it, you have to behave and act a certain way at times. I read an article like when I was like looking into this project you're working on now, that you don't miss going to beer festivals anymore. I mean, it basically because it's challenging. It's like you got to be on and you got to lean into it, and that can be that requires a lot of energy.
When I retired, the first thing I know I said to Sarah, my wife, I said, you know what? I don't ever have to go to a beer festival again.
Yeah. Totally.
And that felt so freeing.
I bet.
And what in the hell is wrong with me? Beer festivals are fucking awesome.
They are, but I mean, how long have you been doing this? How long have I been doing this? You, Justin. Right. I mean, when you get into it, it's like snap, crackle, pop. You're like, this is amazing. All these people want to come talk to me. I'm pouring beer. Everybody's having a good time. Right. But you get on.
Yeah.
Autumn years for me, and I feel like you be quiet over there, Greg. And I feel like you got to kind of pull back a little bit. You can't run that fast anymore. You gotta you need to reserve your resources, and
I agree,
and be specific with it. I used to do everything like you did, probably, Greg. And now you're like
you had
a lot
to.
of hats. Yeah.
You had to. When we started the Brewing Network, I went to people's backyard beer festival. I went to every single thing I could, and it's part of the success of the BN. You had to meet people.
You had to, yeah.
And then, years later, you're like, oh man, I just want to watch football or something.
Well, I'm really good at like leaving work, and I've learned the art of compartmentalizing. I don't know if you did that, Greg. And I like literally shut it down. Like, I'll be in meetings with like lawyers, with real estate agents, with and all this HR, and then I'll be in a creative meeting. It's like literally you just go dunk, and then when I go home, it all goes off.
Sure,
completely.
I could always predict the time, the spot in the year that I would be the most depressed and feel the most lonely. It would always hit at exactly the same time, after the anniversary celebration. The night after, when I would go home, or even just go out, because there would be like some bars that everybody would retire back to. And I would show up, and they're all having a good time. And they're all kind of happy to see me. I'm thinking a lot about a lot of my team.
Yeah.
And they're also like, oh, shit, Greg's here now. Right,
Yeah.
Dad's here.
Exactly. And I never wanted to be that.
Yeah.
But the reality is you are Dad in that equation.
Yep.
And so I would, after the anniversary celebrations, when it would be hours of some people coming up and, hey, how are you? Let's do a selfie and all this kind of stuff, which was all great.
Yeah.
And then afterward, I would just be so alone.
Yeah.
And I would never feel it more viscerally
Yeah.
than then.
The crash.
Now I feel sad.
I can totally relate to that. So in our heyday, at the Great American Beer Festival, and I'm sure you can relate to this, I couldn't walk from one side of the floor to the other without a million selfies all the way. And it was wonderful. I really, and I wanted to spend time with every listener, like just even if it's a minute. I really enjoyed it. And then I'd go home from that week, and there was no serotonin left in my head. I was
discharged it all.
I totally relate, and I felt like a jerk about it for a couple years. And my partner was like, "No, you give a lot during that week, and of course it sort of takes it out of you." And I had to wrap my head around it.
It's just the difference. Look, it's the difference between who I am and who I would like to be.
Right.
I would like to be pure extrovert. I really would.
Sure.
I want to, there's some famous person once said, I never met a man that I didn't like. And I think he meant it.
Yeah.
And that guy, it was like Dale Carnegie or something. Anyways.
Yeah.
It was a pure extrovert.
Yeah.
And I would love it. And I have a friend of mine, Drew Curtis from FARC.
Okay.
FARC.com. And we did the Woot Stout with him year
after
year with
Yeah.
him and Will Wheaton. And he is, I'm like, he's visited a few times. And I'm like, hey, Drew, I got to go do this thing. And he's like, will there be people there that I don't know? And yeah, I'm pretty certain. He's like, okay, great, I'm in.
Right.
And then he's like, but watch out, because then I'm going to want to do something else afterwards.
Of course.
And I'm like, how could that happen? How could you want to do something else? You won't be tired. He's like, no, man, I get charged. And he is 100%. I've never seen anybody more pure extrovert. Sam Calagione a bit like that.
I think so, yeah.
And I just looked at it and like, I want that. I don't have it.
Same.
I can't dig anywhere within me to dig it out.
Right.
And find it. So, okay. But we spent enough time on this.
Sure. I have one more question, though, before we get into just, are you enjoying retirement? Because some people don't. This is a genuine question. Some people are like, no, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, like what happened when you like left Stone that last day? I'm kind of curious about that.
Well, it kind of was on a little bit of a rheostat, a little bit of a fade. Because we had hired, our first CEO about 4 or 5 years prior to that. And so already you got to step a little bit other way. You got to hire somebody who's got opinions and style and direction and can figure out shit on their own.
Yeah.
And because that's what that job requires. And yet I still wanted to, here's how it should really be going.
Sure. I know what you want to do, guy.
Well, no one's going to do it as good as you, is how I would feel.
Yeah.
Well, and that's true. How did you know? Yes. Yeah. So you see it too.
Yeah.
You realize nobody can do it as well as I can. Okay.
Yeah.
There was a pullback that was awkward. I think that was the most awkward part.
Okay.
I think just, the clean cut, way better for me.
Mm-hmm.
And look, one of the rare and special privileges in my life is I get to be wherever on this planet practically.
Yeah.
Walk into a small brewery, and nobody will know me.
Okay.
It's rare. If they do know me, it's rare that they'll say anything.
Okay.
But yet, I know I always feel welcome. And sometimes, the owner or somebody might say something, or maybe I'll even let them, because I might have known them or something, and say them. And they're always so generous.
Sure.
Open arms. Throw open the door, and that's great because I like being anonymous.
Sure.
I like being a civilian, but
who
it's
you
also great to be able to, get a little bit of that
a little bit of love.
Cook's tour, or
Yeah.
the the behind the scenes, one extra pour, or you should try this one, whatever.
Yeah.
It's so special. And my favorite thing in life, another favorite thing in life is that I get to know people who do interesting things. And that is actually my favorite thing, is knowing interesting people that do interesting things.
Mm-hmm.
Both you guys qualify. You're interesting people, and you've done some really interesting things. And I am privileged to know you. Wow, I'm getting sappy.
I love it.
I love that. You know who you are? You're the Steve Miller of beer. My musician friends and I have always joked, the most famous musician that is, if he walked right now, if he stood next to you at the bar, you'd never know
No,
it
I
was
wouldn't.
Steve. Who knows? Who
Because
the
his
fuck knows
album cover was blurry.
Exactly. You'd never know. But as soon as you found out it's Steve Miller, you'd be like, I love your music. Can I buy you a beer?
Yeah.
You're the Steve Miller of beer.
Okay, I'll take it.
That's what I'm thinking. All right. So you're enjoying retirement in that sense. You get to live your life.
Because I got now all the privileges and none of the responsibilities.
That's pretty great.
It's not bad.
Now, what I found out recently about you, and I suppose I should have known, you were a musician before you were into beer.
Yeah. So my quick story is I was born in SoCal, but I grew up in small town Ohio. My family moved when I was 4. So I'm a Southern California native, Midwestern upbringing, and I moved back to L.A., to Hollywood specifically, to go to guitar school in 1984. So I went to the Guitar Institute of Technology in 84, 85 because I was a wannabe rock star.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to be.
And they taught that there?
Well, the guitar,
Just
not rock stardom per se.
The guitar, the rock star was in his head.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, it was in my imagination.
Yeah.
And so, the long story short is, I spent a year there, but God, I suck.
Okay.
It's shocking how bad of a guitar player I am.
Same.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just shameful. Like, you did this thing for a year. So, but I still fashioned myself in music industry. I went and I did songwriting, and I tried to write songs, to get them sold and covered and things like that. And I thought, okay, I'll be a songwriter.
Yeah.
And then eventually I started doing some management, and I was managing a friend's band, and they needed a place to rehearse. And that's when I was looking for places to help them find a place to rehearse, and I saw a niche.
I love this.
And so I built rehearsal studios, and I opened my first studios in 1989.
Okay.
Yeah.
In L.A.?
In L.A., in downtown L.A.
Okay.
And
did you live there too? I'm just trying to piece together rumors about you. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, tell me the rumor. I'm sure.
Well, no, it was just that. Like I just always.
It might be better than
just
the real
bits
thing.
and pieces that Greg lived in a loft, but it was a rehearsal studio or a recording studio. People don't know. They just hear these bits and pieces.
Yeah. There's the shreds of truth.
Yeah.
So I lived in a loft, and I lived in a industrial warehouse building that had been converted to lofts.
Okay.
And the rehearsal studio building ended up being a couple of blocks away.
I see. Okay.
So there you go.
Was that lucrative, or was it just a passion project?
No, it was. I built a scale. So I was the first one to take it and really scale it up. So I operate 200 rooms today.
Oh wow.
So this company's been operating since 1989.
I had no idea. Okay.
And you cannot imagine the number of bands. I mean, Blind Melon wrote their album in my studio.
Wow, that's cool.
Okay, so that goes back, right?
Yeah.
Fishbone has been rehearsing with me on and off for more than 30 years.
Amazing.
Wow.
All these bands, Wayne Static, did a Static X thing out of my studios. And so just about any, because it's L.A., any musician you can imagine has come through and played there.
Oh, that's cool.
And when I did the collaboration with Metallica, we did that beer internet.
Oh, yeah.
And, I'm talking to Rob Trujillo. He's like, oh, yeah, man, I've been to your studios a ton of times. I played with this person there. I played with this person there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's sort of, it's an institution in that world in L.A.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah.
And I certainly, once I found out, I thought you had left it behind. But this is still part of your portfolio.
Yeah, so Steve and I met. So Steve was an early tenant.
Okay.
And I can remember it to this day, only very vaguely. But Steve came up to me during a sensory evaluation of beer class at UC Davis. I'd been sitting in this class it was a weekend, just a Saturday day class. And I've been sitting in this class staring at this guy going, I know him from somewhere, but I couldn't place it. And during the break, he came over to me and goes, hey, aren't you Greg from the rehearsal studios? And I said, yeah. And then I remembered that I knew another band that rehearsed in the same studio as he did. And I knew one of them, and he had introduced me once upon a time, probably 90.
Okay.
But they always paid their rent, so I didn't get to know them very well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Talk to those who don't.
Yeah. I mean, I got to know the members of Korn very well.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And they were the first band that I kicked out.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was
man.
4 of the 5 members before Jonathan Davis joined the band.
Okay.
Yeah. And they were all 17, 18 at
Kids.
that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
And
douchebags.
oh man, they were at that time. I remember I saw Fieldy years later, before they hit, but because they played with they shared a room with the Electric Love Hogs, which was one of my favorite bands. And
Okay.
Jonathan Feldman went in and he started Goldfinger. They had they had a couple of big songs.
Yeah.
Back in the day, so I knew Jonathan really well and produced some stuff with it. It's just like I could tell you so many meandering
We're gonna
little
have to have another
anecdotal
show.
stories.
Yeah.
And the one thing that went bad with the rehearsal studios is that once I signed the lease for the building in downtown LA, I lost track of this band that I really wanted to produce a demo with.
Oh.
And because I thought they were amazing, and I was going down to their studio. I have an entry in my little logbook. You do your mileage.
Mm-hmm.
It was Long Beach, 23.2 miles. Sublime rehearsal.
Oh, wow.
I knew you as soon as you said Long Beach.
Yeah.
Amazing.
88.
Wow.
88, I saw him for the first time, and I went immediately after the show. There were like 12 people in the audience,
Okay.
And I went up to him after the show, and I'm like, I want to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
I want to do a demo with you guys. You guys
Right.
were amazing.
Oh my gosh. And then of course they become the biggest thing.
They became the biggest
Wow.
thing, and I never saw them during any of that period. I've only seen them play live once.
With 12 people.
In 1988.
Oh, that's insane.
Oh, no, actually, and in their rehearsal studio.
Yeah, because
in
I didn't
Long
learn
Beach.
about them and they were still a little underground, but it was like 92, 91.
Yeah.
And someone hands me their album, and I actually didn't get it. I was like, it's okay. And then the next year, they're the biggest thing I've ever seen.
What did Steve Wagner, your business partner at Stone, what was he doing in the industry?
He had a band called The Balancing Act, and they put out 3 albums on IRS Records.
What was the music?
Kind of a folk rock.
Okay. Wow. I mean, just knowing Steve now the way I know him, I can't. For some reason, I'm having a disconnect.
Yeah, he sings and plays bass. He can play any instrument really.
Wow.
But bass was his instrument in that band.
Okay.
Primary, yeah.
Wow.
But getting him to do it for you that's impossible.
Oh my gosh.
You didn't have a Stone band or anything like that where you two played in it?
No.
No.
He wouldn't have, but would be capable.
Okay.
I wouldn't because I wasn't capable.
Okay.
I cannot overstate how badly I suck as a musician.
All right, we're gonna have to talk about this.
There we go. There's the segue. And yet,
So we're gonna take a quick break because it's a good time to do it. But even though we haven't dove into the band, can I play a track at the break? Okay. So I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play Firestorm. Is that cool to start
sure.
with?
That's yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna take a break. We're gonna play one of the tracks off of the new album.
So I co-wrote all the music on the album, double album.
And you play on it, or
I don't play on this track, and I don't play on pretty much any of because have I told you that I suck?
you have
That might have come up.
but you are in the band.
I perform, yeah. So I co-write all the music, and I perform some of the vocals on some of the songs.
You sing.
Singing is a little bit of a stretch. It's,
You're a vocalist.
You're on vocalist.
vocal stylings.
I do. By Greg. That's your next album.
I bring out my voice.
That's good.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. This is off the new album from Metal Warrior, and we're going to learn all about the band when we come back and how the project started. And go to metalwarrior.com and check it out. But
Oh, yeah, it's me at the beginning. When it go, Firestorm.
on this one,
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
That's my
like
performance.
that's your claim to fame. We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by AWS. Amazon Q Business is the new generative AI assistant from AWS. Many tasks can make business slow, like wading through mud. Help! Luckily, there's a faster, easier, less messy choice. Amazon Q can securely understand your business data to help you streamline tasks, like summarizing quarterly results or doing complex analyses in no time. Q got this. Learn what Amazon Q Business can do for you at aws.com/learn more.
There's about 35,000 of us guys out here at Mare Island. We're working 24 hours a day, fixing up busted ships and building new ones. Talk about your total war effort.
Hello, I'm Justin Crosley, founder and host on the Brewing Network, inviting you to join me on a podcast journey in Battleships to Beer. This is a far-ranging 10-episode conversation with Kent Fortner and Ryan Gibbons, chronicling their 10-year journey creating the Mare Island Brewing Company. There are, of course, the challenges of starting a brewery.
I mean, this building it's just shy of a David Lynch movie.
But also lessons that apply to the creation of any business.
Our insurance writers now would probably be like, you guys want to do what?
Yeah. And most certainly, we talk making beer.
We want it to be a component in there, not the Mick Jagger up front just taking over the show.
But also branding.
Here's the box around this brand. And I'm sorry, but if you come to us with something outside of it, we're not going to go there.
We'll touch on the cast of characters that have been along for the ride.
Like, Carney, small hands smell like cabbage.
Yes.
So that's what I used to say to Ken all the time. And he's like, who is this you're talking to down there as we're building it? And I'm like, it's one of the Carneys.
As well as COVID.
We did have faith that, as hard as we work and as hard as we're going at it, and frankly, as good as I think we were, surely we're not going to go under during the pandemic.
But at the core of this story is a special and enduring partnership.
Brian, you're nuts. Like $500. That's the budget. We don't have $5,000.
Just finding their way.
What the hell are you guys doing? You can't have that stuff. We just got out of court and that stuff's supposed to stay here. And we're like,
it's his partner.
And running through it all is a celebration through beer, honoring the incredible history of the former Mare Island Naval Shipyard.
And I said to her, Peggy, I'm going to make a beer for you guys because this story needs to be told.
In all its colorful glory.
They basically carried this Mare Island mud around with them for 20 years.
Oh my gosh.
This submarine.
Little extra weight, a little extra ballast in there. History, entrepreneurship, community, and beer. Join us on Battleships to Beer, 10 years of the Mare Island Brewing Company. Welcome back to the session. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. And we are with Greg Koch, who is currently of Metal Warrior, the new band that you heard at the break there. The song that we just played you was Firestorm, which you can find on iTunes right now. If you look up Metal Warrior, you can find it on Spotify too. I think probably every player of your choice.
Yeah, all the streamers. Yeah. YouTube too. That YouTube video for Firestorm, by the way.
Oh, dude,
you got to check that out. It's really cool.
So I just found it today. Have you seen the video yet?
I have not seen it yet. No.
It's dope.
Yeah.
Here's another one where I doubted you. I watched the trailer video and I was like, okay, this is gonna be all right. And then I watched the Firestorm video and I was like, this is really good. Again, Greg, you're a talented guy. So
I work with talented people.
So
that make me look good.
That's what we want to talk about now, because I'm going to run out of time with so many questions I have for you. Go to metalwarrior.com and check it out. Okay, so we already have established that you've been a loosely termed introverted musician, right? You go into retirement. Where does the concept for Metal Warrior come out of you?
I can't actually say.
Okay.
I don't know the answer.
Okay.
But there's this artist, Ben Fellows, who's phenomenal, as you can see from his art, if you're looking at Metal Warrior stuff, or you go to metalwarrior.com.
Yeah.
And he had... I was originally introduced to him when he submitted a drawing for what we call the Stone IPA guest art can it was series that we did a few years ago at Stone, and I always loved his art. So I randomly contacted him about 3 years ago now and said, hey, I was kind of thinking about doing this thing. I just always liked I like metal because it's a bit antisocial. I can be a bit antisocial. I'm still an angry young man inside.
There we go.
I'm not, quite as young, but that doesn't matter. It never leaves you.
Right.
It never leaves you. Oh, actually, that's not true. I know some people that I used to know younger.
That are not angry anymore?
They're not angry anymore. I'm like, what happened to you? This is so sad.
Yeah.
Where is that angst, that anger? I'm like, oh, I still got it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I love this.
Just for the record, fuck both of you. That's
Wait, he said he loved us earlier. I don't know what's going on here. I'm
Now
having
he's
a
road
problem.
rage.
Back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah, back and forth. And you did nothing to deserve either the love
I didn't. I'm
nor
just
the-
sitting
nor-
here
nor the
smiling
angst.
and going along with everything.
Right.
It's just going to come out randomly.
That's the old Greg we knew.
There we go.
So you like metal for these reasons.
Well, yeah, I like metal just because I like metal. I grew up in it. And
If you were going to be a rock star, was it going to be a metal
Oh,
band?
110%.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Got it.
My dream thing was, the Judas, the guitar player, broke his wrist, I can't,
I'm going to step
is
in.
there anybody out there that can do,
Hey, kid, get up here.
Right. Yeah. By the way, I wouldn't have been able to do it because I couldn't play any of that stuff. I'm no Glenn
But in
Tipton
the
or KK
dream.
Downing,
Right.
But in the dream, exactly.
Yeah, that's what mattered.
Yeah. So, I just love that stuff. And
But did you come up with the concept because it has a graphic novel? Were you into the graphical stuff or the music to start?
It was started initially with the graphics, but I'm more on the music side. But I'm a storyteller. I love stories, and so Ben and I created the characters together. And he did some art, and I'm like, oh, that character there. I want to use this one because he submitted some different things, and I saw his art, and I'm like, I know exactly who that is, what their motivations are, what the background is, what their story arc is. It just became so clear to me.
Okay.
So we just started expanding on it, and then randomly, so Carrie Kelly. If you don't know the name Carrie Kelly, and I hope everybody does, but if you've ever been to a great beer bars out in Las Vegas called Aces and Ales,
okay,
Carrie Kelly is the purveyor of that, or the proprietor, but that's his side gig.
I see.
His day job is a professional musician. So he played with Alice Cooper for 7 years. He played with Slash for 5 years.
Wow.
He's been playing with Night Ranger for the last 7 or 8 years.
Nice.
And he's just a journeyman musician who's incredibly talented and happens to be a really good friend of mine.
And you know him through the beer world.
I knew him through the beer world, although he rehearsed at my studio.
Right. Of course he did. Everybody did.
Of course.
Nice.
And I never really got to know him because he was in one of those poofy hair metal bands, and I was very disdainful of that at the time.
Pay the rent. I'm not into your band.
KK, I love you now, though. Okay, just for the record.
Yeah.
So, he's such a cool guy, and I told him about this. He's like, dude, we should write some tunes, and I'm like, what? What you mean with me?
Yeah.
Because he is no matter how good a friend he is, and how many events we've done together. Because we would have these big Stone events year after year after year after year. 50 Stone beers on tap.
Okay.
That is, we would really Stone domination, you would call it.
Nice.
And we'd make a big deal out of it, and we did fun things. So I still would have never dreamed of even suggesting such a thing. And he was like, "Yeah, man, let's do it."
Wow. Yeah.
And so we did.
He clearly never heard you play guitar.
We did, clearly.
Yeah. Okay.
And boy, I really had to get over myself because when I'm sitting there in his studio now, and it's time. We're doing things, and I'm like,
and how
I don't belong here.
Yeah,
I mean,
imposter syndrome's going on.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I didn't even feel like an imposter. I just felt like an imposter of an imposter of an imposter.
Okay. Yeah.
But we started working on things, and it somehow came together.
Okay.
And we did 4 sort of theme songs for each one of the 4 characters of Metal Warrior.
Okay.
And they were just 60 seconds, maybe 90 seconds, and we got done, and they sounded great.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm like, I kind of looked at them. This is over a period of a few weeks, and going back and forth a few times. And I looked at him like, do you want to expand some of these out and see if we can do some real songs, not just 60-second things? He's like, yeah, this is cool. He was actually really into it.
So put me in this studio just for a second.
Sure.
Just put me in this studio for a second. So is he sort of playing you, hey, I kind of have these riffs I thought of, and you're laying down some lyrics because you know the story of is that how it's working?
Yeah, mostly that is how it's working. So mostly I am the lyricist. Mostly he is the instrumentalist.
Okay.
Well, actually, he's completely the instrumentalist when it comes to actually playing, because his chops are, out of this world.
I can tell from the album.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but when it came to writing the music, the riffs and all that, I participate on some of the songs, greater and smaller degrees, but it's mostly him.
Okay.
And on the lyrics, he participates greater and less on some of the songs, but it's a little bit more. That's my duty.
And
so
one of you might present the other first, like you might present. Okay.
Yeah, it goes back and forth. It's really just a very organic process. And he, if I can just, like one of the first four things, it was a riff, one of my riffs. I've been kicking around for years. And, and I'm like, hey, okay. And I just kind of meted out on the guitar in such the awkward, plinky kind of just way.
And then
he's like,
nails
he's
it.
like this, and I'm like, holy shit, that sounds good.
That's what I meant. You're like, in my head, that's what I always...
In my head.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. Oh, I can relate to this. Yeah. Okay.
So, and it just came together, and we kept on doing more and more and more, and the how it just came together.
Okay.
Still, it's kind of hard for me to fathom, but we do some stuff, and I started just doing these vocals. I'd never vocalized ever because I can't sing.
Okay.
I'm tuneless, but my vocals work for what we're doing.
You can do some growling, and you can...
It's more than just growling.
Yeah.
You gotta...
Yeah.
You can play a little Serenity. Serenity is one of the songs.
I can do that. Let's see, where we got here?
Darkness.
Here we go.
My light.
Let's play it. Let's hear Greg vocalizing.
Okay.
Here we go.
And there's no modification. It's all real. I mean, we did not process the vocals or anything. This is, it's my real vocals.
That's you. Oh, and then the background still too. Okay.
Yeah.
How much fun was that? Come on, that has to be so much fun.
Yeah. Are you one take,
It is
Greg?
you.
One take?
No.
Mic drop? Just say yes,
depends.
it's fun.
Yeah. No, I don't always nail it in one take.
Okay.
Yeah. Some of this, like some of the longer lines, I got to do in multiple takes because there's so much air.
Yeah.
There's to
right.
do that voice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of air.
Not inhaling.
Comes through
Absolutely. And this is in his studio. Is it like a home studio or?
But yeah, I mean it's in his home, but it's
Home studios are
totally
amazing now,
Yeah,
so, yeah.
And I set up a mirror image studio on Maui.
Okay.
And so we do. It's been about 50-50 between the two places. Sometimes
see.
he'll come out to my place and we'll do it there. And
Okay.
yeah.
Are you guys always together, or sometimes you're just emailing tracks to each other?
No,
Like-
we're always together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he'll then after we write the song, and he'll get a lot of the instrumentation down. He'll then do his refinement on his own.
Yeah. Okay.
And just to really dial it in.
Okay.
You know.
And and he's playing all the instruments then at that point? The drums, he's got it all.
He's doing everything.
Wow. It's so good.
Yeah, because he belongs. So there's one song where I do one riff, and I don't even want to point it out. It's sort of
we're going to do it anyway.
No, I'm not going to.
Okay.
Because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right. We put this stuff, but there's some riffs. Again, there's a number of riffs of mine in scattered places throughout the albums.
Yeah.
And he just plays them in a way that, like, damn, that was a much cooler riff than I realized.
Yeah. See, that's what musicianship really is. Like I said to you before the show, I was like, yeah, I used to be a musician. I'm like you. That is a very loosely defined term for me. I made a few bucks playing bars is what I did. That's if you sat me down in a studio, no, I couldn't.
You sing though,
I
Justin.
couldn't do it. I do, but it's the same thing. It's still, it's passable.
Yeah.
There's a difference between passable and when you sit down with your friend and he does this, and you're like, okay, that's a musician.
So you're better in bar light.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, same as the podcast. That's why I built a studio in a bar. Yeah. Okay, so back to the concept though, because you didn't just go, "Hey, I've got some metal songs rattling around my head." You had this sort of concept rattling around your head.
So it was the big what if. So what if there were these four characters, the leader Skyden, who's a Lycan, and
these are the character names.
Yes, Skyden is the lead. He's the wolf character, the Lycan.
Okay.
He's actually the only Lycan in the universes. And, by the way, just a little factoid for you, there's no such thing as a werewolf. Mm-hmm. And the only reason that people on planet Earth think that they're just sightings of Skyden throughout time because because of Quandom and Quandom's sword can travel through the time-space dimension construct.
Believe it or not, I read this in your book.
Okay.
I know this.
Yeah.
But now our listeners know too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's, there's a lot of lore. So anyways, he mostly stays under the radar when he's on Earth, and been, through the past. Because he grew up on Earth. He was banished from his home planet by his father, King Sisis, for his own safety.
Yes. Okay.
Because of forever wars with Oknar Kamoon, the megalomaniacal, guy, leader of the Five Galaxies.
The villain in the story.
The villain in the story.
Yeah.
Chief villain. And who King Sisis was very afraid that he was going to kidnap young Skyden and therefore hold a card because King Sisis knew that there was no way. If he had a son, he would fold.
Mm-hmm.
So they sent him very far away across time, space, and dimension to this little crazy planet called Earth. And that's where Skyden had his upbringing. But he was different, and he had no idea about his wolf form at that time. That came later in his life.
Okay.
So he was different and awkward and lonely and weird and everything, and completely beaten upon incessantly.
Okay. Bullies.
Yeah. Over a very long period of time.
Were you bullied? Is this where this is coming from?
There's a little bit of me in there. Oh, yeah, I was...
Just curious.
Well, if you think any of those pejorative terms, weak, lack of confidence, felt different.
People took advantage of you.
All of those things.
I got you. Okay. All right. We don't have to dive in. I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel, Greg?
Yeah, Dr. Crosley over here. Okay.
Oh, come on. You can see it in what I've done. If anybody knows any of the work that I've done, there is that streak of anger in there.
Right. Of course.
Yeah.
You're metal. You're metal through and through.
I'm mad.
Yeah.
I'm just...
You got to prove it. You're proving yourself to the world
exactly. to
this day.
That's why, look, I know that in many times in my life, I've been totally try-hard.
Okay.
I absolutely. I have a very strong try-hard streak in me.
Yeah.
That has led me to overcompensate and try to overachieve in many points, just to show them that
you could do it.
Yeah. I have value. I got this. Yeah. Okay.
So
I like this
some
character,
of the psychology of it. Yeah. So anyways, and the bottom line is, at one point later in the story, because there's a lot that goes on between here and there, he discovers the catharsis of metal. This is much later. Mm-hmm. And he takes it back, seeing the purity of metal. It helps him convert from in there he had become an evil pawn of the bad Oknar Kamoon.
Okay.
And had created chaos across the universe.
His dad's arch enemy, he became,
he turned against everything.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he had felt outcast and banned and everything, and he turned against everything. And it was really awful.
Okay.
So he has a lot to atone for.
Sure. So I'm only through book 1.
Yeah.
But does this entire story that you've created, does it play out over the 2 albums? Or are there more albums that have to tell this story?
Yeah, there's only part of it in the album. So you've got book 1, which we are just now releasing, and it's a 9-book story arc.
Oh,
this
nice.
Particular story.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now I'm just going to skip sideways here just for a sec.
Do.
There's a female vocalist on some of the songs.
Yes.
And she's rad in my opinion.
Much better vocalist.
KK
is a much better vocalist than me.
Okay.
KK can actually sing, and then there's Sarah.
Okay.
And she just takes
so there's
it to
2. Okay.
KK is Carrie Kelly, my musical partner.
That
I've been talking about. Yep.
Right. Okay. Got it.
Carrie Kelly.
That's the music partner, and then the other. Who's the vocalist on?
Is it The Battle Will Be Won? Is that, or is it Serenity?
No. So Serenity,
I guess it is Serenity.
Primary.
Okay.
Although KK's on there also.
Okay.
And the Battle Will Be Won. That's KK. Taking the
Scream
leads.
Love. Scream Love is who I'm
that's
thinking of.
Sarah taking the
That's
lead.
Sarah. That's who I'm thinking of. Okay, that's Sarah. How do you know Sarah?
Oh.
Can I play a clip of her first?
Sure.
Yeah, let's play a bit of Scream Love, because this is I don't know why, this is the first one I listened to when you sent me some links. She's a badass.
Love lives in rage, rage lives in me. All love is a cage, cage me, cage me. Love lives across the galaxies. I fight for love, will love fights for me. Scream love, fighting.
This is the first one I listened to, and I think this is right about when I text you. I was like, Greg, it's really good. I don't want to play all of it, but you can go to metalwarrior.com, and you can get the album, and you can get the books that we're talking about.
That was really gratifying. So I wrote that song for her to sing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Skyden and Queen Va have a thing. It's sort of a little bit of an unrealized thing. It's not quite a Sam and Diane from Cheers, but it's a there's that tension, the attraction tension thing in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like a metal rom-com.
Sarah's my wife. So yeah. So actually, I think
wait. That's just your wife singing?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, that went over my head entirely.
Yeah, that's
what a great voice.
She, if you're wondering if the only reason she's able to participate in Metal Warrior is because she's my wife, that's correct.
Okay.
Because she would have said no otherwise.
Right.
She has a really good voice. I mean, was she a singer before? Or?
Yeah, so she actually has a background in musical theater.
Oh, wow, okay.
So she loves the, the storytelling aspect, the narrative aspect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A great compliment I had from somebody that listened to some of the music a few weeks ago. Like, this is very I can see this acting out in my head. I can see there's very storytelling. I get the storytelling out of it. And like, absolutely, that's what this is. So it was I'll tell you the funny little story.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, when we were earlier in the stages of this, and I had a different song. And it's a little bit more of a hardcore, bit of a badass song. And I said, hey, Sarah, so we got this female participant, or not participant, female member of the band. And I didn't know if maybe you wanted to try doing some vocals. Now, I know she can sing. I mean, I've been with the karaoke. She's always the ringer.
Okay, yeah.
But stylistically, admittedly, maybe metal's not quite her thing.
Sure, yeah.
And I said, sweetheart, if you want to try, why don't you try? But I just want to say before you try, if it doesn't work, I need you to be okay with that. It might not work.
Oh, good call.
Yeah, it might not. And can we go into this open-minded?
Yeah,
and with
that's a good call.
realization that
lay it out there.
Yeah, lay it out there. And she's like, no problem. So she actually took the musical tracks for about a week. And when I wasn't around, she would practice and try some things. And so...
Were you stressed during this time?
I think I'd laid out the caveats enough.
That's good enough. Okay. All right.
More for yourself.
Yeah, well, definitely for self-protection. Look, I live with her after all.
Yeah.
So she says, okay, I'm ready to try. I'm like, fantastic. I was kind of excited to hear what she would come up with.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'd given her the lyrics that I'd written, and we had the musical backing tracks that KK and I'd done together. So
sorry, and is she creating the melody too, or the melody's already there? She knows how to sing it.
Is she? No. We ended up co-writing the melody together.
Okay.
Afterwards, but it was pretty much bare. I just wanted to hear what she would. I didn't want to over-prescribe.
Just let her go.
I did let her go.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So I put on the music, and she started singing, and it was awful.
Oh no! Oh no!
It was.
Oh my!
Oh no!
It was.
Did you tell her that?
Such a miss.
How did you say that?
I might have soft pedaled it a little bit more than just I did just now, but it was a miss. I'm like, I don't think that's gonna work, sweetheart. So it was actually fine.
Okay.
It was fine. A couple days later, randomly, I was in the living room. She was in the kitchen, and she was singing to herself. And I bolted up out of my chair, and I walked over into the kitchen, and I said, that what you're doing right now, that is what I want you to bring.
Okay.
Because with the bottom line, it was with her first try, she was trying way too hard to be a thing that she was imagining metal was supposed to be. It was just like,
that makes sense.
Instead of just being her own pure, because she's got a very pure voice, and she's able to soar really well, but it's not this kind of metal.
It's not.
And it doesn't need to be.
Yeah. No, and especially because it tells a story the way it does, it doesn't need to be. If you're just there to rage, it kind of needs to be. That's what that kind of metal is. That's Korn. That's whatever. This is a story. So,
well, I mean, I want to play. Let's play a little bit of the song that is the song in question. And so, anyways,
more of Scream Love, or
no? It was a song called Battle Axe.
Okay, there it is. All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm totally ready.
Here we go. She's badass.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
The story's coming together for me too, because I haven't listened to the entire album, but I read the book and I've I've also dove into the characters, and in her character description, it says she's sometimes like to laugh, giggle in the heat of battle.
In the battle, so it's actually
all together.
The enemies of Metal Warrior know fear in their hearts when they hear the laughter.
Yes,
because they know that pain is associated for them. So she has it's weird. Queen Va, she just has this childlike laughter.
Yeah,
when she is vanquishing her enemies.
Yes, she's badass.
So how did you get the laughter out of her? Did you tickle her?
It's natural. She absolutely can laugh as free and open and just like can you laugh right now? And it never sounds forced.
She's like, yep, I got this. All right, I've got more questions about Metal Warrior and how it came to be. We're going to take a quick break so we can play another track and refresh ourselves, get you a beer. I'm going to play The Battle Will Be Won at this break. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
All right, so you're going to hear The Battle Will Be Won from Metal Warrior at this break, and we'll be right back with
for you in whatever battle you're fighting.
I love it. This is a good. This was the second one I was doing. I was like, all right, Greg got this.
Yeah, I was on BART. Everybody's staring at their phones, and this was in my ears. I was like, this is surreal.
See, if someone attacked you at that moment, you would have defended yourself. That's what this
you playing
is.
Wordle there.
Yeah. All right, we'll be right back. You're listening to The Session.
In the breaking dawn of the new day, we survey the melee of the oncoming hordes. We've been here before, and we will be here again. We were made for this.
To fear, hiding for all in this dangerous world that we know. Our hearts beating faster from here as the bodies drop. The battle will be won.
So, you want to be a marketer. It's easy. You just have to score a ton of leads and figure out a way to turn them all into customers. Plus, manage a dozen channels, write a million blogs, and launch 100 campaigns all at once. When that's done, simply make your socials go viral and bring in record profits. No sweat. Okay, fine. It's a lot of sweat. But with HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools, launching benchmark-breaking campaigns is easier than ever. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
Make this summer count with Harvard Summer School. With Harvard's free college programs, high school students gain confidence and insight into what college is all about, challenge themselves, and discover new friends. There are over 200 courses to choose from, including college credit courses. So it's the ideal way for students to learn something new, but most importantly, have fun. Visit info.summer.harvard.edu/Spotify to learn more.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. The holidays are here, and you know what that means? It's time to get your friends and family the gifts they deserve. Take the stress out of shopping with Amazon's great deals and low prices on a huge range of items from toys to tech and much more. Whoever you're gifting for, Amazon has great prices on everything you need this holiday season. Shop last-minute deals now.
Welcome back to the session. Thank you for hanging out with us. At the break there, you heard The Battle Will Be Won by Metal Warrior. The new album's available. You can go to metalwarrior.com. Is it actually fully available yet, Greg, or are we just pre-releasing it here?
Yeah, there's so we have 4 songs out on the streamers.
Okay, yeah.
Available now. So we played a couple pieces of songs that aren't yet out.
Okay.
Battle Will Be Won is out.
Got it.
You're getting a preview.
A preview. And when the album comes out, will people be able to buy it at metalwarrior.com? Is that where they should go?
It'll be in stores.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
It'll be in full distribution stores, CDs, cassettes, albums,
Cassettes.
and of course,
8-tracks.
Full streamer. Yeah, no 8-tracks, although I did ask about that.
Of course you did. Can we do this?
Right.
Is this possible?
Possible, perhaps. Do you want to?
What about the special edition graphic one that I have? Is that available to anybody?
No, it's only. Those
are so
pretty insider kind of track there.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, it's a picture disc version, so it will be available. I mean, we did make a few hundred copies.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Keep your eyes out.
It's just maybe during special releases like this one at the Hop Grenades. Yeah, special events. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and there was a little bit of delay because you and I were talking about this back before the Great American Beer Festival. We thought maybe there'd be a release around then, but you ran into some trouble.
There was just some production delays.
Okay.
It happens sometimes.
Is it hard to? I can imagine that it sounds next to impossible to get a vinyl record produced.
So to get a vinyl record produced, and now take it and make it a trifold double album.
Right.
Now put in a full-size 36-page book with intensive graphics and lyrics on every page. Now collector's cards and full backstories with the characters. Now, then it becomes a bit much.
Of course.
There's going to be delays.
There's just production issues. How did you want this again? And what thickness of the stock here? And how does this go? And then make them a picture disc. And then make the picture disc form a new image when you overlap the two albums. The two records on both sides.
How did you come up with that? Were you just doing a lot of drugs or something like that?
It just... I don't know.
I mean, it's a super concept here.
Yeah. I look for all the hidden things. I remember, when we were making our first beer boxes for 12-ounce case boxes, and I'm like, can you print on the inside flaps? And I'm like, what? And I'm like, can you print on on the inside of the inside flaps?
Yeah.
And they just had never been asked before. I don't know, like why wouldn't you? Like
sure.
It's a surface. And I wanted to reward somebody that was going to open up the case.
Nice.
Like I knew most people would be getting a 6-pack, typically from a store shelf. But there would be the occasional people that maybe at a Costco or, maybe they just buy a whole case from their brewery. I wanted them to feel like they got rewarded.
A little Easter egg.
A little Easter egg.
Yeah.
And I love Easter eggs. So there are Easter eggs all over the place.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it just seems like a super difficult thing to do. And then the other thing I thought was, once you sent me my album, I was like, because I go to the record store a lot now, and to buy like a good used album, it's a lot of money right now, Sully.
Yeah.
Like I'm paying $30 an album. And so I get this album from you, and I'm like, okay, what is this, $150? Because it has a booklet inside. It's 2 albums. It's like you said, it's trifold, like all of these things. And no, you're selling it for like $40.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not making any money on that thing.
No. I've spent so much money. It's
of course.
stupid. Yeah. Just in the production of all of this stuff.
Right.
Maybe I'll make it back. Maybe here's how I'll make it back. If we end up getting a TV show or a streamer show or something, because I have full scripts, or we've got scripts.
So when I watched the video today, that was my thought for you. I thought, okay, I think
This
the
can go
vision
bigger.
here, and also not just because you can and you have those scripts, but because it fits the vision. When I watched the video today, I was like, okay, I'm really starting to see the whole, how it fits together. And so I see what you're saying.
So I wrote a full musical. There's a full-length musical.
Wow.
Metal Warrior. So my dream is to have in the future a Metal Warrior performance, probably an installation, maybe like a Vegas or something like that.
Yeah.
And it is, you're seeing a metal concert that is also a storyline throughout the entire thing, and you're seeing it play out in front of you. Well, it's a band performing, so it's a full immersive experience. You're seeing Malicites, which are sort of the evil goons. You're seeing them get slaughtered.
Nice. Yes.
And yeah, but there's a lot to it.
Well, this was my question for you: is A, like, where is this going? But I guess, yeah, what do you want out of this? And you're sort of answering that. Yeah. If that happens, are you playing in this band, or you hire the musicians? How does this work for you in your head?
I would not expect to see you. Now, you wouldn't even know if I was on stage because I would be in full
costume. Yeah. I'm surprised we even know that it's you today.
I actually swore down. I had NDAs for the first couple of years as we were building all this stuff together with everybody that we brought into it, the record company and so on.
Okay.
And I was never going to, because who is going to give a shit that this guy that used to have a beer company, right, and he was noisy from time to time, and so he went to guitar school back in the 80s and was in LA and music,
right?
Nobody cares about any of that, and why should they? I couldn't come up with a reason.
Yeah.
And so I actually said, we need to have the characters be pure, that you don't know anything, that the music is coming from them. And eventually it just became, no, it didn't slip out. It just became too hard to continue to move forward without ever just talking about it. So finally we're like, fine.
Well, and I had to question how to promote this event that you and I are doing. And I didn't ask you about it because I'm an asshole that way. But I was like, also, why am I having Metal Warrior on my show if I can't say that it's my friend Greg from Stone? Right. And so I do feel like even though you're right, so there's a flip side of going, you're like, hey, who would really care? And on the other side, the flip side is who's going to care about Metal Warrior that's my audience until I say, oh, no, you should give it a listen because it's Greg. It
opens the door.
So the way we're playing it, so there will be no mention on the Metal Warrior website.
Okay, yeah.
About me or KK or anything.
Okay,
nothing about any humans.
Yeah, okay.
So I can talk about Metal Warrior, the sort of the standard we decided on. So I can talk about Metal Warrior as much as I want. They will never talk about me.
Yeah.
So in the Metal Warrior verse, I don't exist.
Got it, yeah.
Right.
Are you're Sidon, though? Skyden. I mean, if you were one of...
I vocalize Skyden, but I am not Skyden. Because Skyden is significantly cooler than I am.
He's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. Yeah, that's okay.
I hope you don't mind this next question. Gwar. There's an artistic parallel to the band Gwar, in my opinion. I wasn't much of a Gwar fan, or by the way, a D&D guy, and I wonder if you were. But there are some parallels to their artistic presence and even having characters in the band. What do you think about that?
Not really.
Not at all. Okay.
But I think Gwar is awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were around, back when I was in the music industry in LA.
Sure. Did they play at your studio?
No.
Okay.
Now, have some of the members of Gwar been to my studios? Likely, but I don't know.
Sure.
One way or the other.
Yeah.
So guar is awesome, but it is a very different text. So Metal Warrior, and I try not to get too self-serious about it, but Metal Warrior is pretty serious. I mean, the story arc, it is a hero's journey, very dark, goes to some bad places.
Yeah.
But it's real plot line, real story, real, this is real music. The songs, we have one song that might be a little novelty-ish. I mean, have an edge to it, but the rest of them are like, it's music. It's
sure. Guar was a little spoofy and,
it was
and
definitely,
silly.
and
made fun of themselves.
Yeah, that was their thing.
Yeah,
and I guess I more just meant from the artistic side. Like, I wonder even if. I'm sorry, Friedman, like your artist, like had some inspiration from him too. And by the way,
Ben Fellows, yeah.
Thank you. My apologies.
No, he is encyclopedic when it comes to graphic novels and comics and such like that.
Okay.
So he would be able to tell you a lot of detail about
and where
his
it differs.
experience.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that I'm not saying negative things about Guar because I think they're really cool.
Sure.
But that's not where any of this came from.
Okay. Yeah.
And as far as D&D goes, I mean, you've created mythology here. So
yeah, were you a D&D guy?
No, I wasn't. Okay. And I think I would have been if I hadn't have been such a wannabe with the in crowd.
Yeah.
I could not accept the fact that I was a dork, geek, nerd, loser. No, actually, loser doesn't belong in those because that is different. I was a loser, but that is true, 100% true. But nerd, geek, dork, all that's cool. Those are my people. That's
cool people,
me today. That's a lot of people into metal. They're nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, just like.
We celebrate nerds now.
That's right.
In a lot of ways.
Thank God.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: when you were in the height of your Stone, career, would you have spoken about yourself like this?
Yeah.
Like in that way, like that you were kind of like.
No, I was trying to put on. I will fully own that I tried to put on a front of, but why was I making so much noise at Stone and doing all those things at Stone? Because I didn't have the confidence to go up to somebody and talk to them. I needed them to feel comfortable to come, and I needed to do something interesting enough they'd want to come talk to me. So literally,
it also worked, Greg.
It totally worked.
I mean, you're also a business person.
Yeah, you're a business person. I mean, this, not to sit here and stroke you, but the whole concept of enjoy by was like, like at face value was like, how the hell are they going to do this? But you did it. You know what I mean? It's like
how does convincing?
Yeah, but you know what I mean, though. I mean, to put out a beer like that and have it like succeed and people like seek it out. I mean, it was wild.
Yeah.
I mean, your distributors were probably like.
Well, I went to 3, and I said, okay, let me tell you about this thing. Yeah. I'm not going to do this across more than 3 wholesalers to begin with. I think you should be one of them. Let me tell you why. See if you're on board. And all 3 of the ones I imagined did actually say, yes, I think this is cool.
Yeah.
I'm good right now. But what are we drinking, by the way? So you just went out to the bar and you like pulled out like a nice little treat there.
Yeah, the Arel, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, from Tilcan. So Tilcan is one of my favorite lambic producers.
So good.
And just the Tilcan Goose is I think one of the.
It's really good.
I mean, there's almost no Goose out there that I don't like.
Yeah.
But there's some that are a little bit better than others. And I think Tilcan just makes one of them.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And they're a newer producer. I mean, what are they, 15 years old, 10, 15?
Yeah, in fact, they had a tough time even getting like accepted into the real Lambic Guild in Belgium, I think. They had to petition to be part of the guild.
I bet there's a lot of like, what do you want to do?
But what I read is what happened was their beer was just such quality that the guild couldn't say no. In fact, I think they're the first. And now we're going off on it. They're one of the first Belgian breweries.
Talk beer on Beer Show for a moment.
They're one of the first breweries in the Lambic Guild that's outside of whatever the tiny region is.
Outside of the traditional Lambic region.
And it's because the beers were so good that the guild is like, well, how can we say no?
Yeah, the guild. It was interesting. So I got inducted to the Belgian Brewers Federation. I got knighted.
Yeah,
some years back.
Nice.
Have you had?
I haven't been invited yet,
No,
but maybe you could have put a word
next
in for
year.
me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I did.
Okay.
Sully's berry bombs.
I guess I am.
I'm going to leave now.
I guess I am cool. Yeah, there you go.
I'm going to do
Finally.
Greg, tell us about this.
Among nerds.
Finally,
Because
yeah.
nobody else cares about this except nerds.
Right, exactly.
So, so I was asked to give a keynote speech at their meeting for the Belgian Brewers Federation, which was not that grand of a thing. I mean, it was actually a real honor. But there were 40 people in the room. It was not a big thing. So I was talking to him, and this is a time. This is good 12 or 15 years ago, when a lot of Belgian brewers were very upset with the idea of American brewers making Belgian styles. They felt like that was really taking from them, right? Mm-hmm. And so I discussed it. I said, okay, so you feel that when an American brewer is making Belgian styles, it doesn't promote Belgium, it actually takes from Belgium. And they universally were like, yes, that's what we think.
Interesting.
And I said, okay. And then I waited a little bit. A little later in my talk, I said, okay, so IPAs, how many, it's a big American craft beer style, is the leading style of the time. How many of you want to make an American IPA? Oh, no, we would never do that. We would never promote for the American brewers like that. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So you think that making an American-style IPA would be promoting for American breweries, but you think when American breweries make Belgian-style beers, they don't promote for Belgium.
Right.
They steal from you.
Yeah, there you go.
And I called them on it.
Yeah.
Because basically it's very conservative. These old Belgian, these old brewers federations and groups and such, you'll find just very, very conservative attitudes. Nothing wrong with that. They have a lot to protect, a lot to be proud of, and I'm not trying to diss. So and I think it's sounding a little bit maybe like I'm calling them out.
No.
I wanted to call them out sort of to their face and say, not for the point of saying, now see what you just did.
No, it was the logic of the situation.
I wanted to just say, look, okay, so what are you really asking for here?
Yeah.
What are you really wanting? Think about it, because I honestly feel when we are saying Belgian style in the U.S.,
promoting it
is promoted, and we have seen a growth in Belgian beers from Belgium selling in the United States. We're seeing a lot of growth of that, and I think it was from the overall, the rising tide lifts all boats kind of a mentality, which is a mentality I've always had.
Yeah.
And I was trying to share that because they are amazingly insular and do not share. So, they always thought, brewers all over the world thought America was weird with craft beer because we had so much camaraderie.
Yeah.
And we would
That's
do
so
collaborations and we would do share. And we you're out of hops, sure, have scum, all this kind of things, share yeast, all this kind of, there was almost nothing we wouldn't share. And if you're from a brewery across town in Belgium, they wouldn't let you in their brewery.
Yeah.
They would not let you see. And so, Sean, you've experienced some of this or saw some of it.
I mean, I was back in Belgium, when a lot of U.S. craft brewers were going there in the early 2000s, and it was and you kind of saw a little bit about that. I mean, we'd go over there as American craft brewers, and we would be excited, and we would share ideas and all this, and they were like, do you ever go down to, XYZ brewery? And they were like, no, I don't even know who those people are.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not dissing them as well, but it was very, you nailed it on the head. It was very insular. It's just they did not look, they looked at it differently.
It's strange.
Yeah. And we are big kumbaya here in the U.S. With craft beer.
Look where it got us.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a little too. Well, I guess in the sense, I mean, from the production side, we share a lot. I think where we go to battle is in the marketplace.
Yeah. Always. I remember, a local politician having a talk at San Diego Brewers Guild, which I co-founded, by the way. That was and I led for the first couple of terms. But okay, let's set that aside. So I was at a San Diego Brewers Guild function where a local politician came in and he gave a talk and wanted to meet all the brewers. And this is about 15 years ago. And he says, you know what, I'm working on legislation, in the state and in the county, or I don't remember what he represented, but he was, an influential guy. And he says, it needs to be easier for a brewery to open. And we need to, take out the red tape and everything. And I just wanted to go up to him and go, Have you been seeing how many breweries have been opening? I think maybe it's not that hard.
We're good. Yeah. Right.
Like, we got to be careful what we wish for, because, there's going to be diminishing returns at some point. And some people are going to struggle to, I don't know, afford their top ramen and bologna sandwiches if we have, past a certain number. And, well, we sailed past that
happening.
number, which happened.
Yeah.
So, it's a little careful what you wish for. I mean, I love the fact that there are breweries all over the place, although I wish universally that they would, the average was better of what was produced. But I find gems all over the place, which is wonderful. And then I, try to, oh, yeah, this is the really popular one here and around here, Greg. I'm at like a bar that serves maybe, like your place here.
Yeah.
You can find a lot of stuff.
A little bit of everything.
And what is it with the uncurated lists?
Well, what do you mean? Like that?
So, not you. I'm not talking. I'm not pointing my finger at you. I'm pointing my finger at your industry.
Of which you're not in anymore.
Yeah. But so it's so common that I will go into a craft beer bar, and half the beers are just not very good.
Okay, just like a smattering of,
And they just make sure that they have a beer or two from this brewery, from that brewery, from that brewery, from that brewery, from that brewery, without any regard to which ones are really awesome.
Right.
And so me as a consumer now, because I go to XYZ town in the United States, I may not even know any of the breweries. I can't get, 9,500 or whatever the current count is.
Yeah.
I'm going to own up. I don't know them all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't know which one. And then they're all doing something new each week, which is awesome, but I still don't know them all.
No,
so now I'm trying to taste through.
Yeah.
And
it's my job to help you with that as a retailer.
That's called curation.
Exactly. Yeah. So you know exactly the answer to that. It's just like when breweries were opening left and right just to cash in. They didn't know. They didn't care about brewing. They didn't, So there's a difference between the brewers who are like, oh man, I really love beer. I'm going to open my place. And the ones that are like, you know what? That guy over there is making money down the street. I'm going to open a brewery. So it's the same thing, I think, with the beer bar. And hopefully those are the ones that are suffering more than us, that are curated.
What he's saying is come to the Hop Grenade in Concord, California.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'll always remember when this guy, it was an Orange County-based contract brewer.
Nothing wrong with that, by the way, but keep going.
No, but it was their whole shtick was it was an overly bosomy woman who was their poster girl. And anyways, he's like, I met him at a fest, and it was a really bad shtick. I mean, it was just really, it was just all the worst. I don't even want to say what the name of that company was.
Yeah,
they're not around anymore.
Yeah,
and it was awful.
Yeah.
And he's, Greg, I just want to tell you how influential you are and how we're just trying to copy what you're doing.
And you're like, oh, no.
And you're like, and I'm just internally, I just managed to be polite, but internally I'm screaming.
You're like, you're
doing nothing at all.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't need this homage. Thank you.
Yeah, boy. And now I want to say the name so people listening can know really how true the words I'm saying, because I'm really dissing this mystery. But I can.
Okay. All right. If they're gone.
I think what I'm hearing is that you were not a fan, is what I'm hearing.
He's like, it's the 21st Amendment. They're out of San Leandro.
Oh, boy.
No.
Oh, boy.
Of course not.
No, okay, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not in the industry anymore. I can do this kind of thing.
Of course you can.
So it was a brand called Beer Bitch.
Oh, I don't even know it. Wow.
Do you remember that, Sean?
I think I do, actually.
It was
yeah.
BIERBITZCH. Yeah, it was their proprietor was supposedly Joseph Beer Bitch.
It wasn't like all female owned, like trying to take it back. Like, oh no,
and
that's bad.
And they would use the super buxom blonde, and the poster was like crazy sexy. It was like showing her stepping out of her bikini bottoms, or in the process of, and with a Beer Bitch T-shirt that was way too small and a way too big
wow,
and phrases like "it goes down easy," and things like that. And I'm just like, and the beer was just we're making a light beer that everybody can enjoy.
We're making a blonde.
Yeah.
Well, Greg, not all of my business ideas have been good. I have to admit. Yeah, I got a random. You know what Sully and I realized this week when we were talking about this show?
It was just awful.
We were both at your Berlin grand opening. Like randomly. We didn't even plan it that way.
Yeah.
And we were both at your Berlin grand opening. We saw you there, too.
Yeah.
You were running around like a madman. But anyway, just a random thought.
No,
Sully and I realized this week. He's telling me the story about Berlin, and I'm like, hey, Sully, I was there.
No, I remember I took my dad out to... he turned 80, so it was like, we had this big birthday party for him in Southern California, and I said we're going to fly out to Berlin and go to Germany. We lived in Germany as kids. He could never go to Berlin when we lived out there because of what was going on with East Berlin and West Berlin. And then I heard about the opening, and I think I connected with Mitch, and then I remember running into you there, Greg. And you were so happy. It was like you ran up to me, you gave me a big hug, like you liked me.
I've
tonight.
always liked you.
Right.
And
that's a true story.
And it was an amazing time. My dad was. It was just a great experience. It went where it went, but honestly, it was amazing. It was wonderful.
That might have been one of the best days of my entire life.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I see. I'm glad to hear you say it because as Sully's saying, I have a really good memory of it, and I worry that it's not a good memory for you.
Because it's complicated.
It was definitely complicated. But I just remember.
But you should be proud of that. Like it's. I'm glad that you have at least that you have a memory of that day being a.
Because I didn't know a lot of people there, and then all of a sudden, Greg comes up to me, like grin to grin, like ear to ear grin, and just gives me a big hug. I introduced him to my dad, and my dad's like, "Oh my!" It's just we had a blast.
Yeah.
We had people from all over the world.
Yes.
And it was a very special day, and it was so full of hope and promise.
Well, that's what happens when you start something like that. As people who've been in this industry for a while. These things happen.
So much to get there, and it was also just the relief of like, oh my God, we're finally open. After this turmoil, and slog.
Is your overall memory of your time in craft beer full of positive memories, or do you kind of stick to these moments in your head where you feel like you slipped up or didn't say the right thing or
not the latter. I know I can easily tick off to you. I got to take off my shoes and socks to tick off all the ways I've screwed up and done wrong and and I'm sure that there's listeners that would be more than happy to add to that list. And I will not say that you are wrong.
Yeah.
I will absolutely. But I do believe that you got to go out there and you got to give it and you got to try and they all the pundits, or not the pundits, but the people trying to inspire you in business is like you got to go out there and fail and things like. You maybe don't fail always as big as I did sometimes. Fail a little smaller. But I agree with that. You got to go and you got to push and you got to do the things. Each one of these things I did, we did because of pretty much collective effort with everybody at Stone. Always. I believed in and I wanted to do and I really tried and not all of them worked out and Berlin, too big, too bold, too soon, no question about it. But I'm still very proud of what we did there.
Yeah.
And I keep in contact with periodically through social media and occasional texts and stuff with some of the people that work there, and they are. I get a lump in my throat because they're like, it meant so much, and you've changed the culture this way and that way, and I see all the signs today, and it was I don't regret a thing, and I'm like, oh my God, okay, this is too much. I can't. Well, that it just that's what I and then taking away from it.
Yeah.
But primarily, I am not a rearview mirror guy. I never have been.
That's a good way to be. I completely agree.
I'm a front windshield guy.
Good for you.
Yeah.
See, I can be a little rear view mirror, and I wanted to ask you because, okay, my missteps too, and like yours are pretty public. Mine are all recorded on a podcast that's available on iTunes right now, and I definitely can spend some time thinking back, like, all right, I feel like I've contributed to this industry, but God, did I say some dumb shit? Yeah. And so, anyway, I just wanted to ask.
Shit.
But I said shit.
You said shit, and you showed up, and you were here, and you're doing it, and you're still here, and you're still doing it.
And that's what I believe about your answer, that you do have to go for it. You have
well,
to go for
I
it.
just think you just can't have the shoulda, woulda, coulda attitude.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
if you do that, you're going to be like a prisoner of the past.
Sure.
You have to. I completely agree with you, Greg. You got to keep looking forward. I rarely look in the rearview mirror either.
Good
I mean,
for
there's
you.
a couple of times in my life I said, well, I probably should have done that. But I mean, you can't do that. Otherwise, you have to keep pushing forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
No matter what.
I never got into beer to make money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't think I did either, actually. No. It just happened. I mean, we just fell over and just got this happened and this happened. Just like, your destiny was different than mine in some ways. But I mean, it's just you did it because you loved it, and we were passionate about beer, and then you just fell into these situations, and it kept growing and growing, and you went along for the ride.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Yeah.
Did you get out at the right time, Greg? Did you feel like,
No.
phew?
No, 6 years earlier would have been the quote unquote right time.
Yeah.
But I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, there was a lot of frustration towards the end, just as you're trying to beat your head against the wall in an industry that's changing and and becoming very different than, in ways that I don't think we need to, belabor here. But,
Are you saying 6 years earlier because of your own personal health, or because you could have cashed in more 6 years earlier?
well, the cashed in thing is the 6 years earlier. That's
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been completely different.
Yeah.
And I don't
Sure.
care. I mean, I really
doesn't-
just
yeah,
no,
Well,
that's
I mean,
not
maybe
why I
not-
was there. I said no to the big things.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And I meant
Raise
to
his
know,
hand.
And yeah,
And like at that time,
you too, Sean.
were you getting approached like monthly at that, that 6 years before? Like, please, can we buy you? How much? Like, was that often?
I wasn't getting approached that much because I was so vocal,
Oh, right.
and clear.
Right.
Like, don't bother approaching me because
I
I'm going
see.
to tell you to pound sand.
Yeah.
So, and I never thought I would retire. I really didn't believe that I would ever retire.
Okay.
And then I did.
Yeah.
And
you're happy.
It's the right thing for me. It's the right thing for me. And I am glad. It's like that. You ever been in a situation? And we all have. You can imagine you're just in a room and there's a rattly air conditioner and it's just been on, and it's been going forever. You don't even notice it. It's not conscious.
Yeah.
And then at one point it turns off.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
Oh, is that what it was? This is what it's like.
Silence is. This is
Right.
Wow, this is actually kind of nice.
I'm so happy for you. Oh, yeah.
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 I feel lucky. And by the way, speaking of the word luck, it was 110% luck.
Meaning like right place, right time?
Right place, right time.
Yeah.
I'm a hard determinist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you are familiar with the discussion around free will versus determinism.
Yeah.
And I'm an absolute hard determinist. I feel like I get no credit for anything I ever did. I was in the right place at the right time.
Okay.
I was lucky. I rolled dice. Anytime I rolled the dice and I came out with the right number, it was luck.
Yeah. Okay.
And the only reason I worked my ass off and I did those things is because that's how I was built. I couldn't have been anything different than I was.
Sure.
I couldn't have not shown up or shown up different. I could only show up the way that I could show up. All of my background, all of the.
Yeah. This is who I am. This is how I have to do it.
And I wouldn't have said that at the time because it's hard to do that in the moment.
I agree.
But in looking back, I could just recognize all the things.
Yeah.
I got lucky. I was privileged. I got to work with people like Steve Wagner,
Mm-hmm.
and just such the laundry list of incredible people that we have, at Stone, and they're still there.
Oh yeah.
I'm so happy with so many of them. I mean,
that's great.
Pretty much all of them. I mean, there's a couple here and there that have moved on to different things, but by and large,
that's nice.
They are there, and I see them, and they're enjoying it.
That's
I mean,
nice.
I hear good things, and I am stoked about that.
Yeah, yeah. I know a handful of these brewers who did do the 6 year before sale.
Yeah.
I'm friends with the Ballast and a lot of, these guys who really who got their.
Who are they? I'm sorry, who?
Who got their?
I'm just kidding.
Who got their billion? I read about you that you donated most of the money from your Stone sale. Is that real?
Well, I've actually donated in excess.
In excess of the Stone
yeah.
sale?
Yeah. So I don't operate. There's nothing from the Stone sale that I operate on that Metal Warrior is from, and nothing. Was
that like a middle finger from you, or
well,
do you see what I mean?
Donating to charity isn't a middle finger per
but
se.
but you see what I'm saying? Was it like a I don't want this money?
No, it wasn't. It was. I don't know. It's awkward for me to sort of expound on that. It's
That's
just
fair, and we
who
don't have
I
to.
am, and it's just like.
Have you always been charitable like that?
I don't think I'm nearly charitable enough.
Okay.
I definitely have money that I could donate to charity that I haven't.
Okay.
I think we all do. We can all look in the mirror and go, okay, I could do more than I have done.
Yeah.
I am not going to claim to do. No, I
That's true.
suck.
Well, you're not supposed to live in
Can
a
I
shack.
just tell you about how bad I suck? I suck so bad.
Oh, come on.
Oh my God.
No, really, and it's. I mean, that's just the truth of you look out in the world and go, okay, I'm an admirer of Peter Singer. If you know the philosopher, but there's just so much more that we can do, and
always.
And I know that I endeavor to do more.
Okay, all right. But for you, then the sale happens, and you felt, the best thing I can do with this is not spend it on me. I'm just trying to get to the head of Greg Koch.
Yeah, I don't. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
But Metal Warrior then is not some just pet project of a billionaire. Is basically what
I'm not a billionaire. And you know what? I can say this honestly. I don't care that I'm not a billionaire.
Right.
What the fuck would I do with $1 billion?
I don't know. It's not the way you take.
I'm not. It's not how I'm wired.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like your new project, though, is like your new Stone. I mean, you're building something from nothing in a lot of ways, and you've created with the people around you, and you've created a whole new universe.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. I mean, that's exciting.
All right, last beer question for you.
Oh, sure.
Is there another fermentation project in Greg Koch's future, do you think?
Actually, one more question. Follow up, sir.
Okay.
Are you homebrewing wherever you're living now?
There we go. Yeah.
I'm going to reveal something that some people listening are going to go, aha, I knew it.
I think I know you're about to say.
I love it.
What do you, I'll tell you the truth. Tell me what I'm going to say.
You've never homebrewed in your life.
I've never homebrewed in my life.
Okay, there it is.
I've never, I got to put a little bit of a pin in that, or a clarification. I've never solo homebrewed in my life.
That's what
Steve and I did lots of homebrews together.
Okay, yeah.
And he would always lead, tell me what to do. I was always the lackey. And I've never claimed anything else in my entire...
You cleaned the mash tun. Keep going.
I cleaned and then cleaned the bottles. I did the sanitation. I did all the kind of...
Steve was the brewer.
Steve was the brewer.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I've never solo brewed. And I don't think I could, although I've gleaned enough information over the years that probably if I had a YouTube video or something, I probably could.
Listen to the Brewing
Network.
Network.
But I'm not going to. I don't need to prove myself wrong on that. I'm just going to say I could. And probably could.
Yeah, fair enough.
Look, brewing is not for people with my personality. I am short attention span.
Yeah, you and me both, man.
I would just throw everything in and go, why is that wrong?
How come this doesn't taste right?
Yeah,
seemed like it should have worked.
And Steve is very, methodical and careful and thoughtful, and
yeah.
And we're fantastic business partners.
That's what you want. You want like a person like you, and you want a person like him in business. Exactly those type of, that's what you bring together, and that's how you're successful.
You've got Nico.
I have my Nico. I have my. Well, I don't know what I am then.
I try not to think about it too hard, Sean.
I'll tell you about it Monday at 3:00 with my therapist.
But what about? Do you think you'll? Obviously you're saying you're not a brewer, but do you still have a passion for the fermentables that you might invest in another, or might there be a Greg Koch backed fermentation project in the future?
Not as far as you know.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I heard yes is what I heard.
I never get the scoop on this show, Sully. Never. That's okay.
Let's get him another bottle of Belgian beer. Let's see what he says.
I did get the album pre-release for Metal Warrior. You can go to metalwarrior.com.
I mean, look at this. It's amazing. Look at this packaging.
Yeah. Do you want to do it? Do you want to open it on the camera?
Yeah, sure.
Here, I can even isolate your camera for you. Let's let people see it. So, Metal Warrior, the double album, Greg Koch's new project.
Good Lord, it's really in here.
Yeah. So, is there a tour? Is there a?
No, this would be quite a bit to launch a tour. So basically, what we have to do is release the album first. We're releasing the graphic novels.
Yeah.
And they'll be hitting stores this winter, the first graphic novels, and then the album was going to come out officially in early March.
Okay.
And look, you hope that you can get some wind in the sails. You can hope you can get the steam, some coal in the steam engine, and move this forward. That's the Obi strip. That gray, the thing that comes off.
I saved mine, even though I opened. Yeah, I
opened. You should always save the Obi strip.
I saved it.
Yeah. I'm keeping
and
it.
It's written in Volution on there. Yeah.
Oh, right. You've got a language. Nice.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Look at this. I mean, first of all, it's got to weigh about what, 15 pounds?
It's
heavy. It's super heavy.
I carried 10 of them up here, and I sold 2 and I gave 1 to you, so I'm not going to go back with 7. So that's the current demand curve.
When you open it up,
I call it a good start.
Yeah, it is a good start.
I mean,
and then,
you got trifold. You got a booklet
that
inside.
bought them, they were very excited. So that's great.
You can see all this on YouTube. Podcast listeners, just go to youtube.com.
I'm like Carol Merrill right now. If
I think it's on Facebook too.
Isn't it? Okay.
But
I mean, it's wild.
Show the back flap because if you flip over that one side, there's the universe that Greg created. And so when it sounds like we're joking.
That's more Ben. Ben Fellows. He put that together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ben Fellows, the artist who's at work, and it's just good stuff.
I mean, and the booklet inside here. I mean, this is
it's like real album stuff.
36 pages, lyrics. It's details on the band members.
Nice.
I mean, honestly, this is a project. I mean, you've created a complete universe.
It's been quite a bit to put that together.
A guy who we both know who used to work with you, he's a regular of mine. He came in here the other day, and I showed him this project. I showed him why you're here, and he said, "I guarantee you that Greg turns that into as big as Stone or something else because that's what Greg does."
Look at this.
That's how he felt about you. He felt that you the graphic album, the picture album, isn't that cool?
Oh, I mean,
it's around, actually the other side, the intergalactic mosh pit. It's kind of that graphic is.
Who doesn't? I want a tattoo of an intergalactic mosh pit.
Yeah. I think nobody's done a back piece yet. So
my girlfriend's a tattoo artist, so we can do this.
Okay. There's some detail in there.
I know there is. Yeah.
You might feel it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to feel that color going in. All right, go to metalwarrior.com and check it out. The album will be dropping soon. You can also find it on everywhere you stream. I have it on iTunes. I know it's on Spotify. If you go to metalwarrior.com and you click on music, there's links to everywhere it streams too. And I think there's 4 songs from the album that you can check out right now. I'm going to play you one for us to get out of the show too.
Which one are you thinking about?
Well,
I may have an opinion on this.
Go for it. What do you want?
Greg, opinion?
What are you thinking?
Well, I think so. This is one where I've decided that Skyden, the character I voice, he needed to rap in this.
Oh yeah.
So he starts off rapping, "I'm Skyden." So it's called "The Crushed Souls of Our Enemies." It's the title track. This is an unreleased track, and we'll play just a little bit of the front of it.
Well. You want to just play? Because I was going to do a whole song for us to end the show, but I can play. No, I can play a piece of this right now.
Perfect. Play a piece of this, and you can hear me rapping.
Let's do it. Greg Koch rapping.
No, this is Skyden.
Skyden. Come on.
He's channeling through me.
Screamers,
I'll vocalize along.
I would not be able to remember.
I'll vocalize along right here. I like this part. Coming right up.
As I look out on the battlefield of thousands of millennia, I reflect on the spirit of the righteous warrior. Scars so deep,
I can't keep up with
it.
It's a lot.
So serene, they drown out the never-ending screams of the fallen. All forgotten with a deep, deep drink from the saints.
Wow, if I can remember.
Is the crushed souls
Breathe.
of our enemies.
We are righteous if you fight us. Battle blades will take their toll. Show no mercy, molestation. Crush them all, drink from their souls. From their souls.
I really like it, man.
Why don't you now ask me again if I'm going to be performing this song?
All I heard was yes.
Yeah. You just got to gear up for it. That's all.
It's funny. I've always, my entire life, I've been horrible at singing along to songs. Turns out, I'm horrible at singing along to my own songs.
Your own
that I
songs.
wrote.
You wrote the lyrics.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I wrote all the vocal parts. Like I performed it. I'm like, and then I'm like, oh wait, where does this come in again? I was like,
Still can't.
I suck so bad in so many ways, and yet I'm able to come out with something that I'm actually pretty proud of.
Yeah.
So how does that work out? I'm
That's
not
awesome.
sure, but that's what happened.
How did you record this? Were you just in a little studio with a microphone, and you just kind of did it? I mean, what was it like?
Yeah, it might have been a couple of takes here and there.
Okay.
Well, you know, that rap part we had to do in small pieces because again, it takes so much air.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Torque Quanda Minds Guidance.
Okay,
I also would want to
Yeah.
like cough or choke too. Like you would just hear and you do it, but that's what's rad about a voice
I
like
would
that.
pretty much make my throat bleed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. No, I would have 2 days of recording, and then the third day, if we had pickup lines or whatnot, it would be
Can't.
it's not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've always, people can kind of be down on artists. They're like, oh, what are you complaining about? You get to be a rock star. That stuff's hard. Night in and night out, you're on tour doing voices like that, rocking like that. There's nothing easy about that, you know.
Well, and there's techniques for the people that do the scream vocals, you know, and that you can do it without thrashing your voice. Yeah. I like to use none of those techniques.
Right. Yeah.
I am like, if my throat is not bleeding after a couple days of recording sessions, I'm just not putting
I'm doing it
enough
wrong.
into it.
You didn't put in your all.
And I am literally putting in some of these stuff. I am literally every last, because you guys know I've screamed from some bar tops a couple of times.
Yeah. Maybe once or twice.
I just find it and I just put every single last little bit into it, and I don't know. I kind of enjoy that. And like,
And KK's like, bro, you don't have to do it.
no, he's like, dude, that's good. Let's do it again.
Okay.
And I'm like, what?
All right. Greg, thank you so much for coming up and doing this with us, man.
Oh man, it's great.
I appreciate
it's great
it.
to see you.
Yeah, this is awesome, Greg.
It's good
to
fun.
see you, Justin.
Sully, thanks for coming out and doing the show.
I mean, honestly, this is up there. This is this is a good show.
And if any of you guys see me out there in the world, say hi. And if you got something you want to say to me, you can say it. Good, bad, or indifferent. You can say it.
Yeah.
Come on up. I'll talk to you. No problem.
You know, I can vouch for that. I asked Greg before the show, I said, hey, man, and I do this for everybody because I'm not like a hard-hitting journalist here, but I always go like, is there anything off limits? You get a guy like Greg in here. Greg, he didn't even let me finish the sentence. I was like, hey, is there anything? He's like, nope. Whatever you want to talk about, man. And I was like, well, I want to talk about music mostly. But if something comes up, do I have to worry about it? And Greg said, absolutely not, man. Just if you have a question, you can ask me.
Look, I've said things, and I've done things, and I can own them.
Yeah.
I can own them. And I don't always agree with everything that I said. Mostly I do.
Sure.
Yeah.
And, even the strongest stances I ever took, I 100% agree with it. Didn't turn out that way.
Yeah.
But it was, I meant every word I said.
Of course.
you know.
Yeah.
So you're like,
can't
I don't
predict the
doubt you.
future.
You're approachable now. It sounds like you kind of like, I don't know, you were in a different space in your life,
Nobody
probably.
cares now. So,
Actually,
I really, honestly, that you guys are even going to have me, I was thrilled. Like, somebody wants to talk to me.
Oh, no.
No, seriously, I don't think people care. I really don't. And I actually find that perfectly acceptable. It's okay.
Yeah.
But why would they care? I did this thing for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing it anymore. And there's a shit ton of other people out there doing cool stuff.
Yeah.
So why do they care about me?
I mean, I'll give you that. There's still a lingering curiosity about folks like you, though. You know what I mean, Greg? Like your legacy will live, and I think that's cool, and I think you should think that's cool too. And there's still always there's a curiosity. You know what I mean? People just want to know. But I do agree with Sully now that you're, and you always were. Now that people can know how approachable you are, just go have a beer with the guy.
Yeah, actually, because it's funny. Before the show, I was like, "You told him I was going to be on the show, right?" Because I don't know. I mean, I've interacted with Greg. We've had conversations, and I was like, "He's cool with it, right? He's cool." And after I said, "Is there anything off limits we can't talk about?" And you told me that exact story.
Yeah,
and it was like, "No."
Well, Justin, when you told me that Sully was coming, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I haven't seen that guy forever.
Oh, exactly. Here's a little secret. So Sully wanted me to tell you earlier in the day. Sully, I never told Greg until he got here. And Greg's immediate reaction was like, "No, I'm so happy to see Sully."
Well, that's great. I didn't know. So,
yeah, I never told him.
I love this awkwardness right now.
All right. Hey,
I'm going to have to go back to like the lovey-dovey stuff. I already did that. Just replay that.
Wait, could you say it again, please? You love us both? Is that what you said earlier?
No, I don't remember saying that.
It wasn't. Yeah.
That doesn't sound like me at all.
I'm just gonna take out those clips and play them over and over on every show.
Yeah, but can you do it? But it's not going to be the growly guy voice, you know.
Oh yeah, and I'll put it to some metal.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, there'll be like a metal bed.
Sean, I love you.
Okay, now you're getting weird, but okay, that's okay.
I love it.
Sean, come over here. Greg, what are you saying?
Here, I wonder if
Tell me about Enjoy by Again.
I wonder if your voice is going to work over the music bed I'm going to play to get us out. Let me do this real quick. Hey, thanks to our sponsors, More Beer and Beersmith. Go to beersmith.com. Get your free brewing software trial. You can get the online version. Plus, they're just awesome. And thanks to Greg for being here. We've got more shows coming up for you. I'm going to play this little music bed, do my goodbye, and then, Greg, you take us out with whatever vocal stylings you wish once I'm done with the business. Thanks to Sully for being here. Check out our Mare Island podcast, Battleships to Beer. You can find it on all of your podcast aggregates. And thanks to you guys for listening. I appreciate it. We've been doing this for a long time, and we're still having fun in this studio, and I love that. All right, take care of yourselves and your beer.
I feel like I'm kind of under pressure right now.
I know.
What do you want me to say?
I need to give you words. Just, no, I do your own lyrics. I don't care unless you can't do it to other music. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit.
That's when I need KK here, because he's like, "Come on, dude, just bring it out. It'll work. It'll be fine." And then he's like, "Okay, well, not like that. How about like this?" And then we work it out. You know, it's all working out.
Justin Crossley's the best host I've ever had.
Justin Crossley's the best.
He's the best host, Justin Crossley!
The Session is a production of the Brewing Network and brought to you by More Beer. Check them out at morebeer.com. Find more content and live video of this show on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Brewing Network. For sponsorship opportunities and information, please reach out to advertising@thebrewingnetwork.com. To reach our hosts, contact feedback@thebrewingnetwork.com.